Welcome back to the fourth devlog for a game I'm calling Mage Time. If you're new to the devlog series, Mage Time is a multiplayer roguelite dungeon crawler game where you play as a mage and you basically battle through different dungeon levels and you build up different spells and see how far you can go. In this devlog, I want to go over some of the new features and things I've worked on in the past month. I'm also going to try a different format for the vlog, and instead of editing a bunch of clips together, I'm just going to try talking while playing the game and describing some of the features I've worked on. Just because I don't have much time and I want to get a devlog out before the end of the year. That was one room I just cleared, and I got a new spell called Chain Lightning, and it looks like this. So this level is completed, and this is kind of like a safe room. Once you get in here, all your friends will get revived, and then you can proceed to the next level. So down here on the map, there's different room types. This is like a monster encounter where you fight a room full of monsters. This is a campfire, so you can use this to restore some health and rest. This is a treasure chest, so that's a really good one. That means there's no monsters and you automatically get a treasure. And then this is a question mark encounter, which is basically you don't know what it's going to be, and usually you have to give something up in return for a prize. So kind of like high risk, high reward idea. The other thing is you can only hold 3 spells in this game, and the spells get weaker the more you use them without using another spell. So you can kind of see I'm at 0% on the spell I've been using, and it's moving very slowly and only doing 5 damage. If I switch to my lightning spell, which is my second spell, I'm doing 15 damage, and the other spell is recovering. And it looks like in this room the prize was a fireball spell, which is really good, so I'm going to pick that up. Now I have 3 spells, and also unfortunately there's this poison mist that kind of slowly moves up the map. And this basically prevents you from being able to access every single room and farm every room. It kind of forces you to keep going forward through the dungeon. So because I've been talking, not really focusing well on the game, I haven't had time to visit any of the side rooms. So yeah, you can see the fireball spell is really powerful, although it does get weaker the more you use it without using something else. And there's also this yellow bar. When you charge that up, if you right click, you get a super powerful shot. So basically if you shoot your spell 10 times, I think, you build up this kind of super power shot, like that. And because you can only hold 3 spells, you kind of have to make a decision if you want to give something up. I don't actually want to give up a spell for this arcane spell, so I'm going to skip that. I'm going to try to quickly run over to the left and use this campfire just to restore some health before going to the next level. So if I use it, I get 20 health back, but now I have to run to the other room before I get killed by the shadow. So that's the second level completed. Go on to the third level. And I just want to talk about one of the new features I worked on in the past month is I changed how the spells basically work. So there's no longer the concept of ammo. You can now just infinitely shoot your spell without ever having to reload it or anything like that. Initially I was kind of treating spells almost like guns. So in the code I had clip size and reload time, and basically I was just inspired by what a shooting game would do. and just make it spells. But one of the things that I didn't really like about that was I found you mostly always use just one spell, and you never really used your second or third spell. Kind of like in shooting games where you basically only use your second weapon if you're like don't have time to reload your primary, or your second weapon's like a rocket launcher and you're going to shoot down like a helicopter or something. So I was talking with my brother and he gave me some feedback about introducing this idea of like exhaust, where the more you use a spell, the more exhausted or weaker it gets, and it lowers like the damage. So as you can see, the more I shoot this, the damage slowly decreases, and basically all the stats of this spell slowly decrease. So we can kind of see here, the UI is horrible, but the potency and like the distance and the size of the spell slowly decreases and is affected by this like exhaustion property, I guess. So if you switch to another spell, now I'm using the Chain Lightning spell, the other spells will recover. They'll basically regain their strength while you use a different spell. And what I'm hoping this does is it kind of encourages you to quickly switch between your spells based on which one is ready to go and which one's powered up. And I think this will be a much more fun and rewarding kind of like combat style. The other feature I added recently with this new kind of like spell system is this like power bar, this kind of like bar near the player that charges up as you shoot your spell. And once it's yellow, you get like a the opportunity to use like the right mouse button to shoot like a power shot like that. And the power shot isn't affected based on like the current exhaustion of the spell, so it always is at like full power. And if you have like a special effect, like let's say let me spawn Omni Finisher. So if you have like this effect called Omni Finisher, your special will now basically shoot like an omnidirectional attack like that. So you have to shoot, I think, 10 fireballs and build up your special attack, and then you can shoot like that, which is pretty cool. Definitely makes combat, I think, a lot more exciting because there's like different attacks for you to do and combos, and you kind of have to balance between your spells. The other thing is your special bar goes away when you switch the spell. So if I'm ready to use a special attack on my basic bullet spell, but if I were to switch to like Chain Lightning, I lose all the progress I've made to my special. So now I'm back to having to build that up for the Chain Lightning spell. There's also a small grace period when you switch spells. There's also a reload, like a draw time as well. So if you switch spells, you can't just instantly use it. You actually have to wait like 2 seconds. But you also get like a 3-second grace period where the spell doesn't weaken while you use it. One of the things I'm definitely missing with this stuff is like good, clear animations to communicate what's happening. I've mostly just been working on the code. Haven't really had time to make the character animations good, but hopefully soon I can do that. So I'm pretty excited with this new combat system. I think, at least in my playtest, it's been a lot more fun than kind of shooting and reloading a spell that remains pretty static. So here's another fireplace. over here is an encounter, and I really need to improve this UI as well, but basically an encounter, you can gain something in return for losing something. So looks like here we actually got lucky and we don't lose anything, but we can gain 25 max health, restore health, or gain like a power up. So I'm gonna go with the health. And these mobs don't actually come from rooms, they're just like mobs that spawn at like a fixed interval, and they're pretty annoying, to be honest, because you don't get anything for defeating them. They're more just to keep you from standing still and not doing anything. So this room is a treasure room and it dropped a ice spell. I'm also basically dead, unfortunately. I'm gonna skip this because I don't want to lose any health as like a risk. Yeah, I'm basically dead. Lost too much health. Can't defeat this boss. And I'm dead. I died. The difficulty scaling in this game is really bad right now. I definitely need to fix that. I've just been implementing all these mechanics and features, but I haven't really polished up or balanced anything to make it actually, I would say, playable, to be honest. But that's something I'm going to be working on a lot in the next month, I think, and that's just polishing up the mechanics and making sure the enemies are balanced with a reasonable kind of like spell build upgrade progress. So that's kind of like the major updates I've done for the actual like combat. Basically just the spell exhaust system and these different room types. I've also been working on kind of like a system to save your progress in like the meta game, which is kind of like progress that you'd retain from each run. So this version of the game isn't actually being shipped right now, but I've been working on kind of like this town area. And my idea here is like this will kind of be like the home base where there's like different characters that you can talk to, and there'll be like different different buildings and like shops and stuff, and kind of like quest lines where like if you talk to someone there'll be like a different encounter in the run through the dungeon. And so I've been working a little bit on the art for this. I haven't actually finished it. Initially I was working on 3D art, and then I was like, I think the combat is pretty bad, so I should probably work on the mechanics instead of building a whole lot of graphics for stuff that's not really gameplay focused. So I'm hoping to add this in the future to the game. And my idea over here is like this would be like a mage tower that you have to like unlock enough stuff to be able to go into. I don't know. And this would be like the entrance to the the mage school or village or town or whatever it'll be. But I've kind of hidden all this away behind like this feature flag called full game, and what's currently shipped on Steam has this set to false, so you don't actually get to explore this town, unfortunately. But I did that because I thought this would just be super confusing if it shipped with the default game for playtesting. Yeah, so I don't really have much else to show off in this vlog. I hope this format wasn't too boring. It's more just like me talking about some of the stuff I've worked on. Not very polished at all. Maybe to end the vlog, I'll add some spells to my character and see if I can beat the final boss. So I have this like little cheat terminal thing where I can like basically spawn different effects or upgrades. So I'm just gonna level up a bunch of spells. Okay, now I have like a pretty powerful spell build. Let's see. Passive. And I'll just spawn a bunch of passive upgrades as well. Okay. So this boss is one of the bosses that I actually put a little effort into designing, and it's kind of like a Grim Reaper boss, and he basically creates like this copy of you, and he can lower your health to 1 health if you don't like restore. If you don't basically destroy your clone, you'll lose all your health. He does it on like a cooldown of 30 seconds. So okay, so yeah, see like this like life stream. Basically, you have no health until you reclaim your health by destroying your phantom, which I thought was basically like Kingdom Hearts Sephiroth inspired, to be honest, but I really like that boss fight in that game. So yeah, he's almost dead, but just get my health back and finish him off. So yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll try to make more devlogs soon. And hope everyone has a good holiday and New Year. Thanks.